This is more an example with a generally smooth leather seat, unless it was custom made, and we find that deerskin and other leathers kept from slipping more and had that added on. This saddle is a 1920 saddle, actually, for real, but like I said, these side saddles didn't change much over the years. From the last saddle I showed you until this saddle for an English saddle, a lot of them were, up until this point, like we're talking like early 1900s, late 1800s to early 1900s, not made with a leaping head. That came about after the Civil War. And then they also, Greg, if you could turn this saddle around for me. This saddle, just hold it please if you would. This saddle has what we call a balance strap. Unlike the last Western saddles you saw that had two straps, it was noticed that if they wanted to run fast, if they wanted to be able to keep up with everyone else, they had to do something to keep the saddle stabilized. It goes from the off side in the front to the back on this side. This is not what holds the saddle on. This is a counterbalance. The saddle still has a girth that goes to here. This is a setup made by somebody extremely smart. One lady sitting up here, if she needed to tighten her girth and there wasn't someone standing right next to her, this was picked up while she was sitting there. She reached down, she pulled the girth out and tightened it herself, set this back down, and this little hook right here hooks that, keeps it from flopping up and down. I know this saddle was made around 1920 or before, because it still has a little hanky pocket. After 1920, they kind of did away with that, pretty much. Saddles were made here in England, but all the parts were cut out made here in the U.S., but the parts were cut out in England. They shipped over in pieces and were put together here so that they didn't have to pay taxes on them. They were like repair parts as opposed to saddles. So no tax. Okay. All right. Turn it around one more time, please. Okay. Ladies started smoking, riding astride. The ladies that were old timers that really didn't want to go completely trained, needed to keep up with all these girls in the 1920s that were going like crazy over fences and running around astride. This extra horn right here, you'll see that we lost the top horn here, then we went to the little bump here. Now we have a top horn that's offset this way, allowing the leg to lay across it comfortably. And this horn right here is called a leaping head. It's a little bit movable. Some of them more so than others. You can tighten it, loosen it. It has a strap under here that allows it to slide. If I need to, I can let it out from underneath here. But the main thing was with this, if you were jumping, you didn't go over the horse's head. That was the whole point of this. Right shoulder back, use your leaping head going over the fence. Try not to push down in your stirrup. And that was the biggest difference that we still use today. And I still use this saddle today. I used it earlier on the Lipizzan show doing caparils, which I learned from watching my dear friend Linda Herman. And that's all I can say, because from that time period till now, saddles haven't changed much except for the Western. Greg, if you will, please.